there, welcome back to Plow & Pantry. Today is the last installment of this year's Crocktober. Today I'm making Tuscan soup. This is kind of similar to Olive Garden's Zuppa Toscana, which means Tuscan soup. Theirs has potatoes though, and I'm leaving those out today. I'm kind of keeping it a little more low carb. You can certainly add potatoes if you like though. You can also make this in the Instant Pot. I'm doing the crock pot today. The way my times fell today, it was just easier to get it into the crock pot and have it ready later than it would be for me to throw it all together at the last minute and wait for the Instant Pot to come up to pressure. So I'm starting out with some mild Italian sausage. This is a mood thing. I sometimes do half mild, half hot sausage or any other combo. You can do what you like. Again, when you cook at home, you can customize things to your taste. I use about a pound. This package was from Aldi and it's 19 ounces, so it was slightly more than a pound, but that doesn't matter that much. I took the sausage out of the casings and crumbled it up into the pan, and then I am adding some homegrown garlic. I've got about 5 cloves here. I just like a lot of garlic. And I'm also adding one of my last onions and sauteing this until the sausage is getting kind of brown and the onions softening. If you're using an Instant Pot, you can certainly do this step in the pot itself. I feel like when I saute in the Instant Pot, it takes longer than when I do it on the stovetop. So even when I'm using the Instant Pot, I still do this part on the stove. But you can certainly do it straight in the Instant Pot and save yourself some dishes. While that's sauteing on the stove and kind of getting caramelized, I got the rest of the ingredients into the crock pot. I normally put about 6 cups of chicken stock in the pot, and that is equal to 1 quart jar and a pint jar. But when I went downstairs to my basement pantry to look, I only had quarts of chicken stock left. So I grabbed a pint of vegetable broth to make up the rest. I will type this recipe out, by the way, below in the description box, and hopefully I can get a printable on my blog soon. And if I do that, I'll link that below too when it happens. Probably not right when this is posted. But what I'm saying is it shouldn't matter that I'm subbing out part of the chicken stock for the veggie stock. I tend to make swaps all the time in my cooking based on what I have on hand. But I also obviously need to get some more pint-sized jars of chicken broth in my pantry. I just bumped that up on the list. In addition to the broth, I add some oregano. I'm using about a teaspoon of dried oregano today. You can use fresh if you have some on hand, probably about a tablespoon. And I'm also adding in some sun-dried tomatoes. I use about half of this jar, which is an 8-ounce jar, so it's about half a cup. I got some of that oil in there too. I also add salt and pepper. It might look like I'm adding a lot of salt, but when I make home canned broth, I make it unsalted. If you're using a store-bought broth, there's a lot of salt in there, even the low sodium ones, so I would put a lot less in during this step and then taste and adjust it at the end when it's ready to eat, which you should always do anyways. I also added about 4 cups-ish of kale that I picked from the garden this morning. I washed it and chopped it into like 1 to 2 inch pieces and took the big center ribs out because that's how I like it. And by the time I got that stuff in the crock pot, my sausage and veggies were ready, so I added that to the pot and then I set it on low for 2 hours. Sometimes I do 3 hours. Since all the parts are cooked, you just need it to be heated through, but I like to let it go a few hours for those flavors to meld really well. One time I just heated it through thinking it would be fine, and that extra low and slow time really makes a difference in the final flavor. So I cook it 2 to 3 hours, and which of those I choose, 2 or 3, basically depends on what time I want the soup to finish, when it's going to be convenient for me. Anywhere in that range is good. Once we are ready to eat, I add in about a cup, half and half, or heavy cream and stir it in. And then when we serve it, we like to sprinkle parm over the top, and I put a bit of fresh parsley, chopped fresh parsley on mine as well. And that is Tuscan soup. Thank you guys for joining me in the kitchen today. I will link my Crocktober playlist for you in case you want more crockpot recipes, and I hope to see you again on a future video.